Welcome back to another video, everyone. Today we are going to be ranking every quarterback performance from the wild card round. We had 12 quarterbacks in total that played, and some played a lot worse than others. I will say, in terms of like playoff football, it was an underwhelming round just in general, but even in quarterback play, it really shows where I feel like we didn't really see any like insane statistic games. But I think maybe that'll be coming in the divisional round. But if you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. But let's kick it off at number 12 with Mr. Justin Herbert himself from the LA Chargers, who had a horrid day on Saturday. Had the worst day of his entire life, getting absolutely destroyed in the pocket, taking a lot of hits, throwing interceptions, and just having the worst game probably of his career in the wild card round. He was 14 for 32 for 242 yards. He did have one, I believe it was a garbage time touchdown, I could be wrong, and 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions. He made me look like an absolute idiot. I ranked all of the quarterbacks right before the playoffs, and I put Justin Herbert at number 10 and praised him on how good he was at not turning over the ball. And then this dude just goes out and throws 4 interceptions against one of the worst playoff teams in this year's playoffs. I don't know what happened. He sold. He absolutely sold for the LA Chargers. And he finished with a 13.0 quarterback rating. They lost 12-32, and his career impact for this game is definitely bad. This does not look good on his resume. In fact, you could say that it is stinky poo-poo. Coming in at number 11, we have another very bad performance from a young quarterback. That's going to be Jordan Love from the Green Bay Packers, who went 20 for 33, 212 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions with a 37.2 quarterback rating, as well as 10 yards and no touchdowns on the ground. I'm including their rushing statistics. Justin Herbert did not have any rushing statistics in his game, so that's why there is nothing there. But the Packers did lose 10-22 in this game, and this is a bad game for Jordan Love, a bad highlight on his resume here in this wild card round, where you didn't really even see him put up a fight. I could be wrong, so forgive me if I am wrong, but I believe he was the only quarterback from the wild card round that did not throw a single touchdown. So yeah, he had a very bad game. And I feel like the Eagles really didn't play that well. They were giving the Packers a lot of opportunities to get back into the game, and then Jordan Love just kept shooting the Packers in the foot. Coming in at number 10, we have Sam Darnold from the Minnesota Vikings, who was out there just straight up seeing ghosts. Did not want to throw the ball whatsoever. He got sacked 9 times. A lot of those sacks were his fault, taking way too long to throw the football. He went 25 for 40 for 245 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception with a 13.6 quarterback rating, as well as 19 yards and no touchdowns on the ground. The result was a 9-27 loss to the Rams and a horrible exit from an otherwise very impressive and very awesome season. And this has a bad career impact on him, because even though he had such a great season, such a surprising season this year, we were really hoping for him to at least carry that into the playoffs. And I feel like even if you saw this game go 27-24, be a little bit closer, Sam Darnold having a good game, or at least a decent game, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about him like we are. But he did not have a good game. The Vikings did not have a good game, and it's a little concerning, especially when you're talking about, what the Vikings are going to do this offseason with Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy. But that's why I think this had a bad impact on his career, because I think if he won this game, that would have went a long way. Even if they lost in the divisional round to the Eagles, that would have went a long way for the confidence that the Vikings would have had in Sam Darnold. But now I think there's a lot more question marks in Minnesota. Coming in at number 9, we have a guy who had an L and, didn't have the best game. He had a very good at least first quarter. He got off to a hot start, but in no way are the Broncos losing any confidence in this guy. He had a great season. The fact that he even led the Broncos to the playoffs is impressive in itself. But we have Bo Nix from the Denver Broncos, who went 13 for 22, 144 yards, 1 touchdown, and no picks with a 68.4 quarterback rating, as well as 43 yards and no touchdowns on the ground. Bo Nix had a great season, had a great, got off to a hot start in this game, but at the end of the day, it was the Bills. They really had no reason to win this game. Really had no expectations to win this game. They did lose 7-31. And career impact, this is nothing. Because, like I said, in itself, just making the playoffs, that's already a great career impact for Bo Nix, at the early stages of his career. So him losing like this, there's no concern whatsoever in my book. But exciting. I think it'll be oh my gosh. I think it'll be so much excitement surrounding Bo Nix next season and seeing what he can do in his sophomore year. Coming in at number 8, we have my boy Baker Mayfield from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who only threw the ball 18 times in this Commanders game. It felt like a lot more, honestly, but he only throws the ball 18 times. I will say that, for the Buccaneers, if you have Baker only throwing the ball 18 times, you're probably going to lose. He went 15 for 18, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, with a 62.7 quarterback rating, as well as 23 yards and 0 touchdowns on the ground, as well as trucking Bobby Wagner, which is absolutely ridiculous. It did result in a loss, though, unfortunately. It was a closest game out of any of these quarterbacks, and closest loss, I should say, out of any of these quarterbacks. But it was a 20-23 loss. And career impact, I don't think it has an impact on his career yet, just because he had a very, very good year. And I don't think a lot of people are saying that he was the reason that they lost this game because of that fumble. But at the end of the day, this game wouldn't have been even close without Baker. So Baker Mayfield, absolutely. I think next year, if the Buccaneers make the playoffs, or if they don't make the playoffs, and obviously, that doesn't look good on Baker, especially with how weak the NFC South is looking, unless some of these teams have an insane turnaround next year. But I do think that, if the Bucs don't make the playoffs next season, that looks bad on Baker. If they do make the playoffs and they lose in the wild card round, then maybe we could get into the negative territory. But I think at least this year, I don't think it has a bad impact on his career. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong about that. Coming in at number 7, we have Jalen Hurts from the Philadelphia Eagles, who kind of just was there, didn't lose the game, didn't really do anything to, I don't want to say he didn't do anything to win the game. Obviously, he did. He threw 2 touchdowns, but he didn't really have an insane performance to help the Eagles, win 2 scores. It was more the defense, and it was more just the total team, I would say. But he was a game manager, and that's all the Eagles need him to do. He was 13 for 21, 131 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, with a 62.4 quarterback rating, as well as 36 yards and 0 touchdowns on the ground. The result, a 22-10 win. Can't argue with that. And obviously, this just really doesn't have an impact on his career whatsoever. It was a safe game, didn't turn the ball over, won the game. Perfect. I think we can move on here. Coming in at number 6, we have Russell Wilson from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I believe he's going to be the highest quarterback ranked on this list that lost the game. And that might be controversial to some people. I think Russell Wilson, had a good performance. I don't think this was necessarily a bad performance, although I do have this as kind of a bad career impact for him. And I'll get to that in a second, but he went 20 for 29, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, with a 46.5 quarterback rating, as well as 6 yards and 0 touchdowns on the ground. He did lose 14-28, so by 2 touchdowns, which is kind of a wide margin. Let's talk about why I think this is kind of a bad career impact for him. In my opinion, Russell Wilson, this was supposed to be his bounce back campaign, and it was looking like that through the first, I don't know how many games. It was like 5 or 6. I could be completely wrong. But the first, when the Steelers were winning and this offense looked really good, we were talking about, okay, Russell Wilson is back. He's not the Seahawks Russell Wilson necessarily, but he's definitely not the Broncos Russell Wilson. He looks a lot better. And then reality kind of started to set in. The Steelers started losing games, and then he went into the playoffs. And I think the playoffs were a pivotal moment for not just him, but the Steelers in general. But, really for him on his career to kind of bounce back from that narrative at the end of the year that, oh, okay, this is Russell Wilson. This is the Steelers coming back to reality. This is the Steelers offense coming back to reality. And the wild card round was their opportunity to break that narrative and get hot in the playoffs, which obviously did not happen. Russell Wilson did not get hot. He's ranked, in the middle of what was an underwhelming quarterback performance as a total, in the wild card round. So I want to say that just because he's number 6, that this was a good performance. He still lost the game. He still, his offense still put up 0 points in the first half. And a lot of these statistics happened during garbage time. What would be called garbage time, because there was an opportunity there was a point in that game where you were like, okay, maybe they could come back and send it to overtime. But then at the end, reality started to kick in. But I still think Russell Wilson, was efficient. He didn't blow the game for the Steelers whatsoever. It was just the whole team, as a whole, just looked really sluggish, and that's what really lost them in this game. Coming in at number 5, we have C.J. Stroud from the Houston Texans, who I would say, he didn't have like an insane game by any means, but he still did everything he could. He still played safe, and he still won the game for his team. C.J. Stroud has not looked that good this season, so I would say that this is, a better performance than what I was expecting in the wild card round. And the Texans won the game. He led his team to a win by, a 20-point win nonetheless. And did he, benefit from his defense getting 4 interceptions? Absolutely. The Texans defense played absolutely amazing in this game. But at the end of the day, CJ Stroud still, took his offense down the field, still looked comfortable in this game, and got his team the win. He went 22 for 33, 282 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception with a 64.9 quarterback rating, as well as 42 yards and 0 touchdowns on the ground. The result was a 32-12 victory over the Chargers, a victory that we did not see coming. I feel like the Texans were definitely underdogs in this game, and for them to win by that wide of a margin, it was very surprising. Obviously, I think that this career, this game had a good impact on his career, and the reason I think that is because usually when I say good, at least for a veteran or someone who's been in the league for a couple years, they have to have an insane performance where they're like, oh my gosh, this guy is playing really good in the playoffs, and that always looks good on someone's resume. But with CJ Stroud, he didn't have an insane game or anything like that really jumped off the stat sheet. But at the end of the day, we did not expect the Texans to win this game. And so the fact that CJ Stroud played calm and got another playoff victory, I think that looks good on his end, and I think it gives a little more confidence to the Texans organization. Coming in at number 4, we have Matthew Stafford from the LA Rams, who just looks so comfortable. I was at this game, I watched this live. Matthew Stafford looks so comfortable out there in State Farm Stadium. He went 19 for 27, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, with a 72.5 quarterback rating, with -1 yard and 0 touchdown on the ground. The result was a 27-9 comfortable victory over the Vikings, and this obviously has a good impact on his career. Once again, Rams underdogs against the Vikings, and did not look like it whatsoever. This offense was hitting, especially towards the beginning. Matthew Stafford was just hitting on all cylinders, got the the Rams out to a hot start, and then just played safe football from there and won the game. Not really much you can ask for, not really much more you can ask for from Matthew Stafford in this game. And I said this in my wild card recap. The Rams just looked like a better team in every single facet of that game. So Matthew Stafford was a huge part of that. Coming in at number 3, we have Jaden Daniels from the Washington Commanders, a rookie who looked so comfortable against the Buccaneers in his first playoff game, already looked like a veteran. He went 24 for 35, 268 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, with a 80.4 quarterback rating, as well as 36 yards and 0 touchdowns on the ground. The result was a close 23-20 competitive victory over the Buccaneers, and his career impact obviously very good. The Commanders were underdogs in this game. Jayden Daniels wasn't expected to play this well, but he looked so calm. He looked so composed, and he got the Commanders a victory. This is kind of reminding me of the Texans' performance, although they didn't blow out the Buccaneers. It just reminds me of C.J. Stroud last year in the wild card round. Definitely surpassed expectations and kind of put the world on notice. I feel like this was that game for Jayden Daniels. Coming in at number 2, we have Lamar Jackson, basically Jayden Daniels Sr., and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just mean that Jayden Daniels is basically Lamar Jr. But anyways, from the Baltimore Ravens, man, he got it done. He got it done in classic Lamar fashion. One of those games that Lamar has where his stat sheet doesn't jump off the page, but the plays that he made just absolutely changed the course of the game, especially at the end when they had like 7 seconds left, could not take a sack. Lamar dodges like 3 defenders, throws in the end zone, touchdown. I mean, that's just the confidence you get from a play like that, especially going into halftime. You just can't you can't match that. So Lamar, just doing Lamar things. He went 16 for 21, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, with a 84.2 quarterback rating, as well as 81 yards and 0 touchdowns on the ground. And the result was a 28-14 dominant victory over the Steelers. And obviously this has a good career impact. You're going to notice with Lamar, and I've said this in my playoff bracket, at least I think I have, with Lamar, this path to the Super Bowl that he's most likely going to have, he's going to have to beat, which he already did. He already beat the Steelers, his division rival who he struggled against throughout his career. And he just beat them, which obviously has a great impact on his career. He beat them in the playoffs. But then he's going to have to go through Buffalo and then KC to get to the Super Bowl. 3, or at least 2 juggernauts in the AFC, one team that he struggled against that, like I said, is a divisional rival. So if he starts winning these games, which I hope to God he does, obviously, this is going to have an insane impact on his career, and it's really going to change how we look at Lamar Jackson, in my opinion. But we will see. We will see what happens. Please, for the love of God, please, Lamar, please do this. It would be absolutely insane. Coming in at number 1, though, we have Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills. He went 20 for 26, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Had a 87.8 quarterback rating with 46 yards and 0 touchdowns on the ground. Had a very, very comfortable victory, 31-7 against the Broncos. And obviously this has a good career impact for him. Josh Allen, here's the thing about Josh Allen. He is going to have to be at the top of this list every time we do this, after every playoff round, in order for the Bills to make it to the Super Bowl. If Josh Allen falls, even to like number 4 or number 5, there is a high chance that this team loses, because Josh Allen is the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is this football team. So if he has any struggles this postseason, the Bills are going to feel it, and it's not going to be good. But at the end of the day, Josh Allen has been playing lights out this season, and I can't wait, guys. I cannot wait for this Bills-Ravens game. It is going to be such a good game. 2 quarterbacks who have struggled in the playoffs, who have not been able to get over the hump in the playoffs, and they're most likely, whoever wins it, is going to have a meeting with KC for a very, very good game. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of my list? What do you guys think of my rankings? Who would you change? Who would you move higher? And who would you move lower? Guys, thank you so much for watching. I don't think I will see you guys until after the divisional round. I already made my divisional round predictions. If you guys didn't see that, go check out my wild card recap. I do a recap of the wild card, and then I predict the winners and the scores of the divisional games. So please check that out if you guys haven't already. But I will see you guys after the divisional round. I'm either going to be very, very sad or very, very happy. So I will see you guys on the other side. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you guys like the video, please leave a like. I appreciate all the support every single day. Even when you guys comment about how stupid I am, putting someone somewhere. Thank you for watching at the end of the day. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Later.